Boom! What's up, everyone? Welcome to T and Me Podcast. I'm Glenn.
Boom. When did you decide to do boom?
That was like last minute.
I
don't know. What's cracking, everyone? Welcome to T and Me Podcast. I'm Glenn. I'm trying to just break dice and jump right on in it.
Who does boom? All right, hold on.
I like boom or crack. What's cracking?
What's cracking?
Okay.
All right, we're going to do this again. This is not what we thought. Take 3.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the T and Me Podcast. I'm Glenn.
And I'm Tina.
And this is our first episode of T and Me. And Tina and I are pretty excited. You excited?
Very excited.
Yeah.
Very excited.
And today is August 11th. And we are starting our podcast on August 11th because
it's our 30th wedding anniversary. So we've been married since we were 17 years old. And we have a really great picture to paint about the day that we actually got married.
The picture to paint is what a 17-year-old wedding looks like. So let's start from the beginning. Let's start the day up.
Okay, well, wait. So when we talked about getting married, it was, of course, like, I was in, like, event mode. I was like, okay, we're going to go to a park, and we're going to get married at the park. It was this little park. It was just beautiful, though. So I was like, okay, we're going to get married there. We're going to set up chairs. I'm going to have an aisle. We're going to have this. We're going to have that. And we just started really feeling like it wasn't going to go as well as we thought after it flooded out the one weekend. And there were just all these reasons that it wasn't going to work.
Well, number one, because there are some adults in our lives that said we shouldn't be bragging about being 17 and pregnant and getting married. But
that's true. On top of everything else.
I would argue that now, though. But
yeah, had we known.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
But so what we did, we went to the courthouse, and so we had this. It was a friend of the family who was a judge, and he, married us. But we're in this little room that's.
It's an office, basically.
It was an office. Yeah, that was all it was. And Glenn's one of 8, so I don't even know how many people were crammed into this little room.
We probably had about maybe 25, 30 people in there.
Yeah, in a room, a little office. So it started with that. I was wearing this silky green maternity dress because we were getting married at 17, and we were having our daughter October after we got married in August. So I was already about 7 months pregnant, and the only dress I found was on a clearance rack at some maternity store. So I was like, okay, this is it.
Well, I thought you looked beautiful, but I remember it was like mint green.
Mint green.
If you look at the podcast before this, there's pictures of you in that mint green.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, you were beautiful. But so you were wearing mint green, a maternity dress, not even close to being a wedding. What most people think is a wedding dress.
No.
And then I was wearing a very cheap, oversized suit. I looked like a really poor car salesman on his first day at work.
Well, I thought you looked handsome. I thought you looked.
It was funny because it was like the suit, the jacket's like just hanging over, it was down to my knuckles. It was too long, too big everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah, so like I said, we had zero money, so we were doing this on a budget.
Well, everything that we ever did make, because honestly, you were working at that time even. Yeah. So Glenn was going to, not to get off the subject, but Glenn was going to school. He was still in high school, and he was working a landscaping company and a grocery store. So all of the money that we were making was not going to like a wedding. I mean, we just kind of did what we had to do on a shoestring. But
so moving forward, here we are. We got married at Justice of the Peace, and then after that, we all, my whole family, since we are a big family, spilled out of the courthouse. And
we have a 2-year-old running down the main street.
Yeah.
Taking off away. We got people running after him to try to catch him.
It's literally total chaos.
It was total chaos.
It's chaos. Very unorganized. But
we almost didn't get pictures because it was like nobody thought.
We got very few pictures. No one was thinking of that then. But then we end up going back to my house, my parents' house, and that's where the the so-called the reception was going to be, And I can remember it to this day. Like I always tell Tina, I was like, it looked like a poor man's graduation party. That's how bad it was.
Well, we did have potato chips and pretzels.
There was potato chips, pretzels. There was a vegetable tray, big ziti,
Okay,
and a keg in the basement.
And a keg in the basement. But that's a staple for any Irish family. You have to have that
True.
kind of thing. But, all of that. But, looking back at it, we laugh at it. But how special, honestly, let's be completely honest. Your parents, like your siblings, my parents, like they all
chipped in.
They were all trying to do the right thing and making it all, like having the cake and these are things like honestly.
Yeah, to try
at
to make
17,
it a special day.
Did you even think about like we needed a wedding cake that day? Like
No.
I would have never thought of that in a sense. So I was kind of glad somebody actually did. But yeah, we went back to your parents. It was drizzling a little bit. Yeah. Kids were running around all over the place, and we always laugh about our wedding song because we never had a wedding song,
but there was one song during the videos that was playing, and we laugh about it now every time we hear it on the radio.
Well, there was this big like record playing like console, the big like back in the 80s, 70s and 80s. This was like what you played your records on, and it was playing the "Bet You By Golly Wow." That was in the background. So every time I hear that song, it takes me right back to the day we were married.
No, it is funny.
And I have to say, like, I love it now. Like before, I was like, I didn't even pick a wedding song. Like we didn't dance to a song. Like, there were all these things. But now when I look at it, I go like, I absolutely love that song because
you have some type of attachment to it. I know.
But it brings me back to like just how simple it should be. Like everything was just so like unplanned or unorganized, and there wasn't a lot of emphasis put on like. I mean, we had homemade baked ziti and homemade vegetable tray.
Yeah, it was pretty basic.
It was really basic, but like everybody was there. That was the cool thing. The friends, the family. They were there. So it turned out to be like, when you think back on it, just...
it's still a special day to us, but even though we can laugh at it now, but it was still, a pretty great day.
It was.
Especially when you're looking 30 years later.
Oh my gosh.
So it was a special day.
It really was.
But then moving on to our so-called honeymoon. Everybody decided to get us...
I don't mean to laugh. They're like, this is not like I appreciate it. Again, this was another thing we never even thought about planning. But everybody put together and chipped in to send us to these. They were called fantasy suites.
Which I would go back to them now.
No,
I would.
Wow, you're gonna go back by yourself.
I liked it.
You liked the whirlpool. That was the jacuzzi. You would have thought that we were staying at and it was like again in the 80s. Like this was like the place to go, and it was not a cheap hotel type of thing. Right. This room was called the Nile, and it was entirely like the whole decor was just like you were in Egypt. So like. We walked in, and this one is like beelining.
And I was the king for the night.
It was like sand dunes all the way around the like jacuzzi, and like
there's pyramids all over on the wall.
And meanwhile, like again, I'm 7 months pregnant, and this has been a long day. Like I'm exhausted. So yeah, we get to the fantasy suites.
Fantasy suite, and
remember we're 17, so we can't even drive ourselves.
Oh, let me show you something. So when we're leaving our house, right? Now Tina's parents are there, my family's there, and as we're leaving, we're calling it. This is our honeymoon. We're going to the fantasy suite, and I hear somebody say, "Hey, don't knock her up." Like, yeah, she's already pregnant.
Great. It was just it just added to like the picture.
Yeah, but interesting.
Good time.
But so anyway, we were at the fantasy suite it was called the Nile, and it was fantastic.
It was very cool. We got up the next morning, and they organized to where we had breakfast and everything already set up. So it was again the coolest, sweetest like term of endearment to us from our family because it made it very special. But when we were there, I think it was like it was 1989, and then we went back the following year for our anniversary, right? When we went back to the OK Corral.
The OK Corral.
So wait, the scariest part is that we were meeting friends for dinner in this same location, and we actually went to the hotel restaurant because, again, like I said, it's a really nice place, and they still, in 2019, still have
them.
These suites.
They're so popular.
We didn't go and look down at them because they said you could take a tour, but all I could do was like laugh and be like, "Oh my God, they're still like
they're still there,
and they're still popular."
Yeah.
I guess I just giggled because at 17 it was all overwhelming. It was all.
I gotta be honest, it was perfect for 17.
It was.
It was a perfect day. I mean, like I said, I mean, all in hindsight, though. I mean, here we are 30 years later, and it was a beautiful day, but it was a funny day.
Not your typical, like, it wasn't like whenever you think of like weddings, you don't think of them just being that kind of like, and I don't mean shotgun, but you don't want to think of it being that like, just go and do this thing. But man, I'll tell you, it was, looking back, you don't need much.
No, not at all.
No. I mean, aside
from... They're still great memories.
Oh, they're great. They really are. And having everybody there with us was awesome too. So that's the start.
And that is our story. This is our first episode of T and Me podcast. Yep. So please like, subscribe, leave a comment below. And also, if you guys have any input on what should go on this wall back behind us, we need to do something with it. So painting of some sort, we don't know, colors. Give us some...
come and hang out. Tell us what we need to be like.
Yeah.
To make it more interesting or whatever. I agree. All right. Till next time, guys.
I'll see you guys. Take care.